Hi, everybody. It's Craig and Arun back with your college hoops rundown of games. We have 4 good games for you today. Not a big schedule with what's out there today, but we have 4 good games for you. Don't forget, if you want to get on our top plays, where's our top plays today? We've got top plays in the NBA. We've got top plays in the NFL. So go over here, 2-for-1 passes. You get a week of any sport. You get us both. It's usually $9 each per sport. You get them both. DocSports.com/CraigArun. Both get in the NFL and the NBA. You'll get today's play plus another 6 days of winners. Of course, in the NFL, that'll get you into the Super Bowl. Since we don't have any more plays, you'll actually get both plays for the championship game and the Super Bowl. Okay, here's what we have for today. We're going to start us off in college hoops. FAU at USF. These are pretty good, 2 pretty good teams in the American. USF's favored by 5.5, total 166.5. What do you like?
Yeah, this should be a good game, right? You have FAU, who's 14-6, and South Florida's 12-7. Okay, but yet the 12-win team is the one that's favored here, and you might wonder why, and that's because FAU has beaten them back-to-back years, and this is not the same FAU team of the past that had obviously great coaching that made big runs. This is the FAU team. Obviously, Dusty May used to be in this team, and now Dusty May is dominating in a place called Michigan. So now you have a coach in Coach John Yakas here, who comes off of 5 straight wins. They beat Tulane, Temple, Wichita State, Memphis, UAB. They're 6-1 in conference play. They're playing great, but they come in here as a pretty sizable dog. So I think to me, it's sizable for a squad that's won 5 in a row in conference play. And now South Florida comes in this game, but South Florida actually only lost to Alabama. My Crimson Tide by 11. They lost to Wichita State at home in overtime. They're 4-2 in conference play. They beat Tulsa on the road, which is very impressive. And South Florida is coached by Coach Brian Hodgson, who, of course, came over from Arkansas State. And I guess it's sort of a leg up, an improvement with more resources. This team beat Utah State early this year by 13. They beat UAB on the road. They played VCU tough. So the question is, how good is this Florida Atlantic team when they go on the road, and can they get it done? What I'll tell you is Florida Atlantic, earlier this year did lose to UCF by 5 points. It was like a semi-away game. They're outside the top 200 in turnover margin. Still a pretty young squad. South Florida, of course, is, about top 100 in turnover margin, top 25 in offensive rebounding. They got a big team. They're a pretty young team. But I like South Florida here and Brian Hodgson here. I think they're a much better team than this record shows, and than their 12-7 record shows. And they're going to get up to face this dynamic FAU team. All right, Craig, do you want to move on to Oregon and Washington, I take it?
Yep.
Yes, Oregon 9.5-point dog here against Washington, total of 147.5. Oregon winning 80-73 last year, and they won the last 4 between these two teams. Oregon, though, coming off 5 straight losses. Looks like it might be time to make some moves in Oregon in basketball. Coming off a 52-68 loss against Michigan State. They were 9.5-point dogs going into that contest. Washington has lost 3 in a row, but you can't fault them. They covered against Michigan, lost by 10. They lost to Michigan State by 17. Turned around and lost to Nebraska by 10, but covered the 10.5-point dog mark. They covered 4 of 5. Who do you like here as Washington comes in as a 9.5-point favorite over Oregon?
I actually think they will give Oregon Dana. What am I thinking? What's his name?
Dana Altman. Yeah, an extension.
Yeah, I think Dana Altman will get an extra year because Shelstad's hurt, his star point guard. So I really think this season is like he's going to get a mulligan, in my opinion. He's a great coach. He did great at Creighton. He's done great there. He's taken them to the Final Four. I think they'll give him an extra year, and he probably deserves that. That's just my opinion. Both these teams have not been good, though, since going to the Big Ten. Neither one of them have really performed well. You know what has been good lately for both these teams? The unders. And I think it's another game. I think 3 of the 4 for Oregon's gone under, and maybe 3 of the 4 or last 4 in a row for Washington. Either way, I think this one goes under. I just can't see either team getting in above like 75 points. I was thinking like 70-65 win by Washington here. Easy under. Take the under 47.5 in this. It's hard to say. Big Ten matchup facing 2 former Pac-12 teams. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on all the great content we have here at Doc Sports. Next game, Southern Illinois at Evansville. Southern Illinois is favored by 4.5, total 142.5. This is not good years for either 8-12 Southern Illinois, 5-15 Evansville. The Missouri Valley has left them behind. Let's just say that. What do you like in this matchup?
Yeah, Southern Illinois minus 4.5 point chalk coming in. Southern Illinois winning 68-59 last year. Southern Illinois comes in having lost 4 straight, losing to Valpo, Belmont, Drake, and UIC. And Evansville rolling in, losing 49-76 against UIC, but after having covered against Bradley. That's an ugly loss there. So the question here is, can Southern Illinois go on the road and be effective and win as road chalk, right? As their place as a minus 4.5 point favorite. They certainly won last year. This is a team, obviously, that's placed in Carbondale, Illinois. You have a coach, Scott Nagy, longtime coach over at Wright State in his second year. Last year, they were 14-19. They're 8-12 this year. Now they've lost 4 in a row. I was impressed the fact they lost against Belmont 73-68. That's only because they had beaten Belmont prior 68-67 on the road. And even though Belmont had revenge, still didn't matter. They were right there. And they only lost by 5 points. I actually think this is a pretty good team. I know they're horrible at three-point shooting, but they actually beat High Point early this year. They were competitive against UAB as well. They were lost in overtime against Nevada. Evansville, they're 1-8 in conference play. They're coming off an ugly, ugly loss against Illinois Chicago. That I can't go against them too much. And they did beat Indiana State on the road. But I got to tell you, it's hard for me to – and David Ragland obviously had 11 wins last year. He's got them at 5 wins this year. This is still a pretty sort of a mix of freshmen and seniors. But you have Scott Nagy. He's a pretty darn good coach. And, again, those wins against Valparaiso, Belmont, High Point speak to me. And I'm going to take Southern Illinois as road chalk, even though Evansville comes off a horrendous loss and one of the worst losses. But we're not scared. We're going to take Southern Illinois minus the 4.5. All right, Greg, USC faces Wisconsin here as a 7.5 point dog Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Wisconsin won 84-69 last year. USC comes in having lost back-to-back games, and they're 14-5. They lost to Northwestern 68-74 at home. That's going to make the faithful upset. They lost in Purdue 64-69 at home, but they did cover that game. Wisconsin is also 14-5, but they're going in the opposite direction. They've won 5 in a row, including beating Penn State 98-71, and they also beat Michigan at Michigan 91-88 as an 18.5 point dog. What do you say? Who do you like here?
Well, I kind of was ready to join in on the throwing the dirt on the coffin of Wisconsin, about 5-6 games ago. And then since then, it's just completely turned around. I mean, there was people out there before they lost at BYU or in Vegas to BYU that were saying they would not only beat that team, that this team had what it took to get to the Final Four. I was like, okay, maybe. And then they kind of didn't play well. Now they're playing great. That win at Minnesota when they let them come back. It was like, what the hell are you doing? And then hit the 3 at the buzzer, kind of give them a little momentum here. I do think they win and cover here. USC is not going to be loving the cold weather as they're coming to Madison, but I like the over in this matchup. Bo Ryan would be like, what is Wisconsin doing scoring in the 80s every game? But this team likes to play fast. They shoot lots of threes. It's the opposite of Bo Ryan basketball, considering one of his mentors, proteges took over. You would think it would still be that grind it out, but it's just not the way. I like the over in this matchup. I also would dabble a little bit less on Wisconsin minus the points. All right, so that's what we like for today, College Hoops. Not the big card, but we gave you our 4 free plays. Don't forget, if you want to get on our top plays, we have top play, both of us in the NFL, both of us in the NBA. You can get them $99 per sport. You get them both, and you get 6 more days of winners. DocSports.com/Craig Arun to get in on them. Good luck. See you tomorrow.